What is up? I'm Sergio Ballistic, but you guys can call me Brian. Thank you for checking out this video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the EVGA Torq X5 Optical gaming mouse. This guy has an MSRP of around $52, but I've been able to see it as low as about $20 off, so be sure to check the description for some links to some deals on this guy. This is EVGA's kind of middle of their lineup mouse, the X5. There's actually a second version of this which has a laser sensor as opposed to an optical, which we have here, but let's take a look at it and see if it's going to be the right mouse for you. So starting off with the design and build of this mouse, I really like the way it looks. It's got kind of edgy and aggressive look to it in terms of its industrial design. It's pretty much 100% symmetrical, which we'll talk about in a second, except for the mouse cable is actually offset to the left a little bit. In terms of colors, it's a little bit limited for the optical mouse. It only comes in this white color. So in terms of the materials used for this, it's mostly a mixture of plastics for the body. Most notable is this kind of glossy white cover surface on the top. If you look closely at it, you can actually see it has kind of an automotive like pearlescent or metallic flake finish. The sides are a black matte rubberized plastic. The support finger areas have a textured surface for gripability, and it feels pretty solid in the hand. There's no real like creaking or any like kind of plasticky nasty sounds to it when you have it in your hand. It's a really solidly built mouse. Taking a look at the shape and ergonomics, one of its most notable features is the fact that it's ambidextrous. That's going to make it a great option for my fellow lefties out there who've said screw you to the establishment, I'm not going to use my right hand for gaming. I personally am left-handed, but I use my mouse hand with my right, but this is actually covered. In terms of its size, I'd say it's a little bit on the small side. It comes in at 1.53 inches by 4.64 inches by 2.5 inches. And again, it's on the shorter side and it has a little bit lower of a profile than a lot of gaming mice out there. In terms of the grip, I personally have a hybrid grip, but I think this is going to be a little bit more well suited towards claw grippers because it is a little bit on the smaller side. I was able to palm grip this without my fingers kind of hanging way over the front, which tends to be a problem with smaller mice for me because I have larger hands. One thing to note about the grip, depending on how you grip the mouse, it could cause some inadvertent clicks of the shoulder buttons, either if you're using it left-handed or right-handed. You can turn these off, and again, this is going to be highly dependent on the type of grip that you like to use. It wasn't a problem for me, I just wanted to make note of that. Since I do kind of use a hybrid grip, sometimes switching to a palm when I need to, I do wish there was a little bit of a higher support from my palm towards the back of the mouse, but overall I found it very comfortable and was able to get used to it pretty quickly. So in terms of weight, this is a pretty light mouse in terms of what I'm used to, coming in at 85 grams. There's no weight adjustment options for this mouse, but I think that's definitely fine at this price point. If you do really prefer your mouse being on the heavier side and don't really particularly care about the sensor, it is worth noting that the laser version is 7 grams heavier than this, and that the Torq X10 does offer weight adjustability if that's really something you're looking for. Alright, so now for the nitty gritty, let's take a look at the specs of this guy. For a sensor, it's using the PixArt 3988, which is pretty well regarded. It's used in many other mid to high-end gaming mice. It being an optical sensor means that you might have trouble using it on white surfaces or glass surfaces. I know on my white desk it wasn't able to track all that greatly, but when you do put it on a mouse pad, either hard or cloth, it does perform very well. The laser version of this mouse will be using the EVGA 9800 for those of you who are wondering. Max DPI is 6400. This does have a 1000 hertz pull rate, and taking a look at the buttons, we've got 8 programmable buttons, mouse 1 and 2, the mouse wheel click. You've got a 1 and 2 left shoulder button, a 1 and 2 right shoulder button, and then the DPI shift, which gives you LEDs to indicate the active level. And these are using the Omron switches, which are going to give you like 20 million clicks, so the lifetime on it should be pretty good. I obviously can't test that. This does support onboard profiles. It utilizes an ARM MCU capable of holding 5 separate profiles. These are modifiable using the software and can be shifted through with a dedicated button on the underside of the mouse. So to test this out in terms of performance, I hopped into a pretty wide range of shooters Particularly, I spent a whole lot of time playing Overwatch and Siege because those are my two kind of shooters of choice right now. I was really happy with the performance. The low friction PTFE feet are really smooth and slide really well on my SteelSeries QCK mouse pads. The adjustment period for me was pretty quick, and I was able to hit flick shots and 180s just after a few hours of gaming with it. And overall, again, I was really impressed with the performance, especially at this fairly aggressive price point. In terms of performance of the buttons, they all have pretty nice tactical feels to them. For the scroll wheel, it has a pretty good motion in terms of the steps that it has to it, very pronounced, and you can really make out and make sure that you only do one at a time. I did wish that it felt a little bit more substantial. I don't know, it just felt very light to me. It has a kind of rubber grippy surface, which I think felt really great in my hand, and I didn't have any miscues with that whatsoever. The pressure for the click in felt really good, not too heavy, not too light. I didn't accidentally click it in when I was trying to do any scroll wheels, and when I wanted to, it went in really quick without switching weapons or anything like that. The left and right click felt great with a good amount of bounce back for fast clicking. Very even actuation from front to back and left to right, but it does have a fairly short travel. All of the side buttons feel really great too. Some mice you use and you just kind of, I don't know, they just feel mushy, and I didn't notice that at all with this mouse. Taking a closer look at the cable, it has about a 6 foot or 2 meter cable, so plenty of length. It's got a nice braided sleeved exterior that looks and feels really good. The connector has a nice distinguishable design with the EVGA logo on one side and a mouse logo on the other. So in terms of customization, this does have LEDs. It doesn't have complete RGB control, but there are 4 different zones that you can do a number of colors with. You've got the sides, the rear, and the EVGA logo: red, green, blue, yellow, orange, pink, and purple. And for $50 or less, I'd say that's pretty good. For software, this utilizes the EVGA Unleash software set, and this is my first experience with it, and I gotta say it's pretty good. I'm really familiar with their precision software for like overclocking and customizing your graphics card. I like that software a lot, and this was pretty similar in its layout and kind of style. So for button settings, you can set the right or left-handed user mode, which will automatically disable the opposite side buttons if you want it to, and then you can customize each button, of course. In advanced setting, you can adjust the DBI. You can change that independently for X and Y if you would like to, and it's got polling rate per setting, which is really good. In the OS settings, you can turn on and off acceleration at the OS level. You can also do angle snapping, which I recommend you just never turn on. You can change between 3 different lift distances. You can also change the OS inherent sensitivity, and you can do a surface calibration for your particular mouse pad. So if you have a steel or hard mouse pad or a soft mouse pad, or you're just using your desk, you can calibrate it especially for that. Now, lighting control is very simple. It's got several modes you can choose from, like breathing or solid or off, and then you can change the color and of course the brightness, so you don't have it blaring in your room and, you know, like waking you up at night, keeping you up, seeing all sorts of strange colors. I don't know. You can also do your typical macro settings in here, and you can have all of your profile management. So in conclusion, I think EVGA has done an absolutely great job at creating a really well performing mouse at a nice competitive price point. It's got the sensors, the looks, the ergonomics, the performance that just all make it a really good package if you're looking for this feature set at this price point. For me personally, I don't think it's going to replace my kind of day-to-day mouse. It's just a little bit too light and a little bit too small for my particular liking. But I can say if you're looking for a mouse in this price range, you should definitely add this to your list, and I highly recommend you try going to a Best Buy, a Micro Center, or Fry's, anywhere like that, to try anything like a mouse or keyboard out before you buy it, because you just kind of never know if it's gonna, you know, fit your hand well. But that is it for this video. Let me know what you thought of the EVGA Torq X5. Drop down there in the comments. Let me know whether you prefer laser mice, or whether you like optical mice, you like lighter mice, heavier mice, do you like ambidextrous, are you a lefty or you're a righty? Just let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see in terms of mouse reviews. Are there anything out there that you really want to have me review? I'll definitely try to pick that up and do that for you guys. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs down if you did not. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.